Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from.
In the world.
In the world. Paul and Denise Mend here from Growth U.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Happy Monday.
It's Monday.
It is Monday.
It's easy to lose track in the summertime, isn't it, of what day it is? If you're living in the northern hemisphere.
Yes.
Yes. If you have holidays, if you're
If you have
teachers, right?
Yes.
If you have holidays, if you're working, you probably know exactly what day it is. Yeah.
You know it's Monday today.
And that's kind of the theme of our talk today.
It is.
Is.
Good segue. We didn't even plan that.
Right? Well, we did,
Sorry
because
about that.
we focus on what we want as outcomes whenever we do these, because we want to bring you value and have you take away something that we know you will use immediately following these webinars, that you'll go away with a new strategy, a thought, a focus that will help you to get what you want versus what you don't want.
Mhm.
And so the law of focus is something we're going to come around to later in the webinar. Let me pull up our little slides here. And while I am, Paul, why is this webinar called Get in the Driver's Seat? What does that even mean?
Well, when you're the driver, you control the direction in which you're going. When you're the passenger, you don't have any control. And so being the driver allows you to get what you want and really stay in alignment with where you want to go.
Yeah. And I think so many of us at times in our life will let our emotions drive the bus or the vehicle that we are on.
A lot
right?
of the time.
So if you're feeling tugged around by people in your life, family, friends, coworkers, the news, whatever is catching your attention, and you whenever you find yourself saying, oh, that person made me feel so angry, or that person made me feel so sad, or I feel so dejected about everything going on right now, the world, the outside environment is driving your emotions, and then your emotions are driving you. So how can we get in the driver's seat, Mr. Mend? Because, do you ever feel like this in the morning?
Absolutely. There was no worm, and trying to put that smile on.
Yeah, really working hard to feel. There's your Monday morning giggle. I hope that made some of you giggle this morning.
Some of you might just go, that was my self photo this morning.
Yeah.
So, ultimately, with what Denise just spoke to about all those outside things, that influences of those emotions, they live in our unconscious brain, right? We have we have a few different brains, but we're going to talk about the conscious and unconscious brain. And our conscious brain is the one that's the here and now, when we are in our prefrontal cortex and we're cognitively thinking of what we want to do, then we're going to do it. Our unconscious brain is where our emotions live, and any of those things that Denise just spoke to, the news, somebody making you feel a certain way, those are emotional patterns and habits, which we've had, since we were a kid. And, really understanding that those emotions are there to keep ourselves safe, right? Our brain's number one job is to keep us safe. And so they're doing their job, and our conscious brain needs to recognize that that's what's going on. And if we want something different, if we want to feel different, then we have to focus on something other than where those emotions are coming from.
And so,
or recognize where they're coming from, I should say.
So this speaks to what are, and different psychologists will have different numbers of emotional needs. And here at Growth U, we've sort of, and welcome who's popped on here. Let's see.
We borrowed from Maxwell Maltz. So Maxwell Maltz came up with these 6 basic emotional needs in the 1950s.
Yes.
And they live pretty true today. So do we know who came on?
Well, I can't tell. I have to go out to tell. So if whoever has come on, welcome.
And post something in the chat.
Please say hello in the chat. And oops, I didn't want to do that. Let's go back. No. Oh my goodness, I'm totally going the wrong way.
It's like planes, trains, and
there we go.
There we go.
You got a sneak peek, everyone. if you're watching this on replay. And let's see, who is it? It's Hilda. Hello,
Hi,
Hilda.
Welcome.
Well, welcome to our Growth You Free webinars. We're so glad you're here. And please put any questions in the comments that you have as we're going along. So we're talking about emotional needs. And what's so important, if you feel like you want to get into the driver's seat and be in control, we must proactively meet our emotional needs. And this is why we mention the morning and how your morning goes and how you feel in the morning. So, Paul, what's one of the major things we can do to help to proactively meet our emotional needs? Because here's the thing, everyone, our brain is going to meet those emotional needs one way or another. And so for many of us, if we're not focusing on what we want and we're not proactively meeting the needs, then we meet them reactively. And so maybe talk a little bit about that, Paul, about reactive versus proactive meeting of our needs.
Yeah. So I think, when you wake up in the morning, it's easy to hop on the phone and start scrolling or, put on the news, or we can be proactive and say, okay, I'm going to visualize how my day is going to go today. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to practice a little bit of gratitude. What am I grateful for today? These are all little things that you can do to set yourself up for success. And we call it putting yourself in an ultimate performer state. So sometimes if you get up, if you're really tired, you can hop in a cold shower, wake yourself up, or that cup of coffee or caffeine, or, get outside and see some sunlight, get some sunlight in your eyes, set your circadian rhythms. There's so many things we can do in the morning proactively to put ourselves in a state where we're at least ready for the day to come. And if things come at us sideways in the day, we're at least well prepared and well grounded. And, the U.S. Navy or the U.S. Naval Commander, Admiral, he says, make your bed when you get up in the morning, make your bed. And if everything else goes sideways and the days are just a disaster, when you get home, at least your bed was made and one thing was accomplished that day. So really focus on, setting yourself up for what's coming rather than stressing and using worry, the misuse of imagination, right, to start your day. Because a lot of us can do that. We can get into that worry state of, I don't know if I have time to do this. I don't know if I can do that. All of these things that are coming at us in that overwhelm, right? And so what we want to do is stop the overwhelm.
Yeah. And so there's some really well-established research around getting outside, if you can safely, in the morning to set that body clock, to focus on what you want. And, one of the people in our community, and many of you will know Rod Hairston, who's our founder, he focuses on 10 things that he is grateful for about himself every morning, along with some visualization and focusing on what he wants in the day. But that focus on what I am grateful for in myself is a really powerful, and how many of you out there?
I was just going to say, if you look at the 6 basic emotional needs, self-esteem, one with the heart in the middle, that's what Denise is speaking to right now.
It's key. And all of us are likely very good at saying what's good about the other people in our life. Like, oh, she's so good at taking care of her kids, and he's so good at the job that he does, and he's so kind to people, or she's so wonderful at when people are sick, taking food over to them. How often do we do that about ourselves? Right? So, Hilda, I'll challenge you to put one thing in the comments that you're proud of yourself for, even if it's just today. And I'd be curious if you have something in the morning that you do every day that feels like it serves you and getting you into the flow of your day in a beautiful way. What are some other things? You talked about meditation, gratitude. Talk about visualization a little bit, because here's the next model that we want to talk about is the law of focus. So tell us a little bit about this law. Oh, and let's see what Hilda said. She went to workout this morning and set a focus every morning. I love that. Nice. Physical movement practice. There's some really strong brain research about what that does for us to help. What do we produce when we exercise?
We produce
one of my favorite words.
BDNF, brain developing neurotrophic factor. Yeah. So when we do any cardio exercise, it's a chemical in our brain that gets released, and it's like Miracle-Gro for our neurons. It's better than Prozac, better than any of those other pharmaceutical drugs you can get. So, a lot of times when we are feeling down, get out and exercise and you'll be amazed at how your mood changes. Right?
Even just going for a walk outside. Yeah. So Hilda talked about focus of the day. So that beautifully segues into the law of focus.
What you focus on, you find. What you focus on grows. What you focus on seems real. And what you focus on, you ultimately become. A story that I used to tell in my psychology class with regards to focus is I used to tell a story about mountain bikers and going down a single track trail. And if you're going down the trail and there's a big rock or a big tree and your brain's like, don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree. What happens? You hit the tree, right? Why? Because your brain was focused on it. If your brain, as you're riding, you say, focus on the trail, focus on the trail, focus on the trail, stay focused on the trail, you miss the rock, you miss the tree. So, it really works. And ultimately, if you're looking for something that you want, your brain, your reticular activating system, your filter inside your brain will find it. If you're focusing on what you don't want, your reticular activating system will find it and you'll get what you don't want. So be careful on what you focus on because you will actually usually get it. And so, make sure you're focusing on what you want versus what you don't want.
We find so many people when they first start doing programs or, come into the community or really across all, anybody who does psychology or personal development, people can really list off what I don't want in my life, right? I don't want debt. I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to feel that I can't accomplish. I don't want to feel overwhelmed. Well, man, if we focus on all that all the time, that's what we continue to get because unwittingly, we are turning on our reticular activating system, as Paul said, to get those things. So when we start to do the opposite, and we highly encourage everybody, as soon as you have a thought about, oh man, I really hope I don't, and then you can fill in the blank, right?
Turn it off.
I hope I don't, I hope I'm not late for work today, right? If I feel or think a thought like that, I immediately think 10 opposite thoughts. Like, I'm going to be right on time. I'm going to have all the time I need. I'm going to feel relaxed as I go to work. I'm going to get to work and there's going to be easy traffic. And if there's a little bit of traffic, it won't slow me down. So all of these things that are the antithesis of I'm going to be late for work, because when I focus on what I want, my brain gets to work on helping me find those things. You have another really good story about focus and sports, because Paul also is a psychology teacher. He coached volleyball for many, many years. And you're thinking, what story is that?
I have many stories. Which one are you referencing?
So many. Well,
serving?
Yeah, the endpoint visualization.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So as a volleyball coach, one of the, early on skills that, we can teach is an overhand serve. Kids all want to learn how to overhand serve versus underhand serve. And the skill, the focus is the same in both. You want to have an endpoint visualization of where you want to serve the ball. So you line up your hand, you make your toss, you make your contact, and you're focusing on the point where you want the ball to go. And ultimately, that eventually becomes consistent, and over time you become very proficient at it and you miss very few serves. So, but it's finding that endpoint visualization. And a good friend, Vic Lindell, wrote a book on endpoint visualization. Yeah. So,
and he rode around Japan, or Taiwan?
No, it was Taiwan. Yeah.
Taiwan.
Anyways, at 82 years old.
Yeah.
So,
Taiwan's a little bit smaller than Japan. Well, so the reason that we wanted to talk about meeting your emotional needs proactively and focusing on what you want is because the next program, and I mean, you can do programs with Growth U anytime you want. If you're not in free daily growth, we highly recommend that you enroll in that because you'll get an email in your inbox every day. You can also go into the website and you can talk to other people who are also doing free daily growth. And there's a question and a prompt every day that gets you to think about something that becomes a focus, right? So it helps you to create a focus if you don't already have one, and something to think about that is going to support you and who you want to be in whatever domain in your life. So next week, we're
July
actually
31st.
going to be doing, and I'll wait for it, the program called Real Power. So Real Power is about finding your inner strength, your inner power, and ultimately tapping into love for others and
Love for self. So
yourself.
interpersonal and interpersonal.
Yeah.
Right.
And what we talked about today in meeting your emotional needs proactively, if you want to really get in touch with what meets those needs and helps you to really get to the next level of ease in being in the driver's seat in your life, you don't want to miss this program. The two women that are leading it, Annette Forsyth and Kay Decker-Ward, are incredible, kind, the most loving people that you can meet. And Annette has led this course many times. And it's a chance where you get to work every day on focus on what you want and how you're going to meet your emotional needs proactively and deepen the connection with yourself so that you can deepen connection with others.
And how long is this program you speak
It's
of?
30 days.
And are there any calls associated with it?
And there's one call a week with the two advisors and other people that are taking the course. And there's going to be a beautiful mix of new people that have never taken a program before and people that have been in Growth Youth for years. And so it'll be a wonderful group to learn from each other.
And what if I
as we
can't make
learn.
that call? What if that's
If you
on?
can't make the call, then you can, it's recorded and you
Okay.
can watch it later.
Awesome.
Just like anybody who's watching this later will
Okay.
post it. Yeah. So if you want to grab the QR code, just take a screenshot of that and that will take you to the link where you can register.
Not necessarily a screenshot, but put it in your photo and then it'll click up.
Yeah,
Creates a link.
if you take a photo of the QR code, it takes you right to the link to register. And right now, if you register before the end of the week, you can use a code possibility. Let me put it in the comments. I'm going to stop sharing. Here we go. And oops, I can't type.
It's all caps, possibility.
Yeah. And so, Paul, what else would people get when they take a program with us?
They get a community, right? And so one of the 6 basic emotional needs was connection. And so you will have a supportive community, no matter what your vision is, no matter what your focus is, you're going to have a group of people who will be your cheerleaders, your friends, your confidants that you can speak to, be vulnerable with, and have full support from. That's one of the amazing things at Growth U is the community. You know, people come in maybe for a program, but they stay for the connection. And, you know, we have friends from all over North America that do these programs. And we get to meet, you know, a couple times a year down in Austin. We go down to an event. And so you actually get to meet in person and you get to meet online and create a connection. It's kind of like that family by choice. You know, it's our blood family is just, that's who we got. And sometimes
And they're wonderful.
They're wonderful. And sometimes we need some other people that are speaking a growth language that are supporting us into what we want to do. Because a lot of times our families will have views and patterns and habits communicating with you that even if you're trying to change, they're going to still treat you like the old you that you used to be, not who you're becoming.
And
So,
we want to speak to the new you every day.
absolutely.
Well, Hilda, do you have any other questions or comments before we finish up today? Thank you so much for joining us live.
And for everybody watching on recording, thank you. And we hope to see you in the program starting on July 31st.
Starting on July 31st.
Yeah, Real Power.
Well, much love to everyone. And again, Hilda, thanks so much for joining us. You are most welcome. And we will see all of you on a webinar soon, probably a couple of weeks from now.
Okay.
Much love all. Bye-bye. Have an amazing week.